Who's actually going to love a power reclining leather chair, and who should just keep scrolling past? Is the price justified for a family that watches movies together, or does it only make sense for a single-person home theater setup? Those are the exact questions I asked myself before I even pulled the box out of the delivery truck. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon, and after a few days of real-world testing, I'm finally ready to tell you whether this piece of furniture lives up to the hype or ends up as a costly decorative footnote. The first thing that made me pause was the dual drive system claim. On paper it sounds like a tech-savvy upgrade, but the moment I plugged it in, I was faced with a remote that has more buttons than my TV. The learning curve isn't brutal, but you do need to spend a minute figuring out which button tilts the headrest, which one pushes the footrest forward, and which one just kicks the whole thing into full recline. If you're the type who prefers a simple pullback recliner, that extra complexity might feel like unnecessary fluff. On the other hand, once you get past the initial confusion, the independent headrest adjustment becomes a genuine convenience. You can recline without having to prop a pillow behind your neck, which is a small but noticeable upgrade for marathon movie nights or a quick power nap after work. The leather upholstery is what first caught my eye, and I have to say the feel is genuinely upscale. It's not the glossy, cheap-look leather that sometimes ends up feeling plasticky after a few weeks. This version has a soft, buttery texture that warms up quickly, so you don't get that initial cold seat sensation you get with some synthetic alternatives. That said, the leather isn't entirely immune to the usual wear patterns. After about a month of daily use, I noticed a faint imprint where my legs rest when the chair is fully reclined. It's not a structural issue, the high-resilience foam underneath still supports the weight perfectly, but if you're looking for a chair that will stay pristine forever, you'll need to be prepared to use a throw or do occasional conditioning. Speaking of the foam, the high-resilience claim is more than marketing jargon. The seat cushions give back quickly after you sit, which means you don't sink into a permanent dip after a few hours of binge-watching. That bounce-back quality is especially helpful if you have guests who pop over for a quick game night. I tried swapping people in and out, and the chair never felt worn out even after multiple people used it back-to-back. The downside is that the foam is firmer than many traditional recliners. If you're used to sinking into a plush, cloud-like cushion, you might find the support a little too firm at first. For people with lower back issues, the firm support can actually be a benefit, but anyone who prefers a softer give might want to add a thin cushion. One of the biggest selling points the manufacturer touts is the space-saving design. The chair's footprint is indeed more compact than a typical theater sofa, which makes it a realistic option for a medium-sized living room that still wants that dedicated cinema vibe. The arms fold in neatly when you push the chair fully back, allowing the footrest to slide under the seat and leaving just a narrow profile. In my apartment, that meant I could place the recliner against a wall and still have enough clearance for a coffee table and a bookshelf. However, the trade-off is that the chair's width is limited. It comfortably seats one adult, but it's not built to hold two people side by side. If your idea of a home theater includes snuggling up with a partner, you'll need a separate seat or a different solution. Power operation is another area where the real-world experience diverges from the spec sheet. The motor is quiet enough that you can start the recline while a movie is already playing without the sound cutting through the dialogue. That's a win for immersion. Yet, because the system relies on electricity, you'll have to keep the cord neatly routed to avoid tripping hazards. In my setup, I ran the cord along the baseboard and secured it with a simple clip, but that added a small amount of extra work during installation. For a renter or anyone who can't drill into the wall for a permanent outlet, this could be a minor inconvenience. So, who should actually consider buying this chair? If you're a solo homeowner who enjoys turning the living room into a private theater, love the idea of adjusting the headrest without a pillow, and appreciate a leather look that feels premium without breaking the bank, this recliner checks a lot of boxes. It also makes sense for people with specific back support needs who want a firmer seat that won't flatten over time. The dual drive system adds a layer of personalization that you won't get with a basic pullback model, and the space-saving footprint means it can fit in apartments that otherwise couldn't accommodate a full-size recliner.